feel naked. I read a statistic online that said that on average, left-handed people will die sooner than right-handed people. That was a close one. That's that whole joke. I don't know if you guys could tell. I'm a big fan of cheese. I enjoy cheese very much. I like all kinds of cheeses. There's one cheese that I try my best not to mess with, and that is blue cheese. I think it's really gross. I know I'm not making friends with that statement, but I don't know if I want to be your friend if you eat blue cheese. Your breath probably smells. I think it's weird. How much people love blue cheese. It's so odd to me. I should probably, before I rant about blue cheese, I should clarify. I mean blue cheese from the block. If you eat it out of a ranch bottle, like that's fine, I guess. It'd be like, I feel the way I feel about ranch blue cheese is like, if I saw you cooking with consecrated oil. Like, it's not written that you can't do that, but I'm not gonna give you a high five anytime soon. The first time that I ever had blue cheese was a surprise to me. It was in a Costco, of all places, as a free sample. I thought it was normal cheese. I was expecting a tasty, fun, cheesy snack. I did not expect to be incited to violence in the way that I was. Every orifice in my face was yelling at me. Does that make sense? I cried in a Costco. Did you know that was possible? You could be sad in there. It's gross, but people like that. People like that sensation that you get from eating blue cheese. They say weird things like, oh, blue cheese. Blue cheese is delicious. If you eat blue cheese, that's what you sound like. Blue cheese is so complex. It's so aromatic. Blue cheese really fills your senses. Yeah, you know what else does that? Huffing gasoline. To all of you blue cheese enthusiasts out in the audience, might I suggest this other challenging dish, lead-based paint. I think it's really gross. You know what the blue part of blue cheese is? Mold. It's literal mold for reasons I don't understand, but I know God did not intend. Right? That's not the purpose for its existence. People put mold in cheese, and then they put cheese on a cracker, and then white women went, tasty snack. What is with the phenomena of white middle-aged women getting together in herds over a block of blue cheese and patting themselves on the back like, oh, can you believe it? This blue cheese was grown in the heart of Venice. It took 7 years to churn and another 4 to fester. Oh, I can almost taste the perspiration of the underpaid Italian workers that made it. I know, I'm preaching to the choir here. We're all college students. We can't afford blue cheese. It's so expensive. I think it's really gross. Right? I would argue it's borderline blasphemous, blue cheese. Right? Like, if I may, when food goes bad, what perchance grows out of it? Mold. God made mold to tell us when to stop eating something. And now we're sprinkling it in cheese like a herb. I don't get it. It's gross to me. Oh, Robert, you're just missing formed, okay? This mold is not like other molds, okay? It's in a controlled environment. It can't get you sick. Yeah, I know mold, blue cheese can't get you sick. But just because something doesn't get you sick doesn't mean that you eat it, right? Lawn clippings are perfectly edible. But I don't go out in my front yard and rip grass from the ground and shove it in my mouth like, oh, it's so aromatic. I don't go to parties with my upper-class white friends and sprinkle grass on crackers and be like, oh, can you believe it? This grass was grown in the heart of Australia. Well, those are all my blue cheese jokes. I will move on. Yeah. Much like blue cheese, it's old. I want to talk about Salt Lake City for a minute. It's a fascinating place that we got some fans in the back. I think it's really interesting. Because we're all LDS here, we have this sort of perception of Salt Lake City being like a modern-day city of Enoch. People are like, oh, Salt Lake City, Mormon Central, the true Mecca. All right. Let's not forget, it's a city with a crime rate and an opioid epidemic. Like it's nice, it's a nice place. But it's kind of weird. There are some weird people there. I feel they might be attracted to the aura of the spirit about the streets. I was in Salt Lake City one time, and I was walking down the sidewalk, and there was a homeless guy coming up toward me, and we made eye contact. And he waved at me, he goes, hey man, hey, wait up. And he like runs up to me, I think he's gonna ask for money or something. But he comes up to me and he goes, hey man, hey, check this out. And he gets down and he pulls up his pant leg. And then he reveals to me an open flesh wound on his leg. It didn't look good. It wasn't bleeding, but it had like scabbed over. It looked like blue cheese. It didn't look good. He points at his leg, and he looks up at me, he's grinning. And he says, yeah, that's pretty cool, huh? It wasn't cool. I was so taken aback. All I could see was like, hey man, you should see a doctor about that. And he said, no, it'll be fine. And then he ran off. He didn't even limp, he ran away. I imagine he ran off to show another unsuspecting traveler his wound. No, he told me it would be fine. I imagine he's doing okay. I never saw that guy again, but if I was betting then, I'd say he's doing well for himself. I just think Salt Lake's kind of weird and not everything it's chalked up to be. I think the street names suck in Salt Lake City. The same applies to Rexburg. Numbers? Come on, we can do better than that. Right, 235 North 47. It sounds like cell blocks, and it makes me sad. Right, I'm from San Diego, where we have normal street names. I had a friend tell me he lived on Tiddlywinks Drive. Ain't that something? How creative. If my friend told me he lived at 235 West, I'd be like, ah, yes, I'm vaguely familiar with the local penitentiary. Oh man, I just think it's sad, right? I don't know. I'm quite parched, if you'll excuse me.
Woo!
Clapping, we got a low bar. I'm clapping for drinking water. I wish we had cooler street names, you know? I don't know, I just think it's so weird, right? Like, why do we need numbered streets? Like, I know why they're there, but why are they there? Like I know it's like, there are numbers and it's in a grid pattern and you can look at a street and identify where you are within the grid based on the number and the direction. Sounds an awful lot like coordinates, which are already established, and this will blow your mind, they're everywhere. So, no need for the streets. And okay, Granted, it's weird to suggest that we all use coordinates to get around. I'm just saying there are far better ways to locate yourself aside from changing all of the names of all of the streets. Right? Simon is so wholesome. Oh no, I lost my place. Oh yeah, so, like, we got around before streets existed. You know that, right? Like, Christopher Columbus didn't panic in the center of the Atlantic because there were no street numbers to go off of. Man read the stars. The stars! Isn't that fascinating? That you can look up in the night sky and gaze upon the glory of the celestial bodies of our universe. And based on those, know where your house is. That's pretty crazy. I know what you're thinking. But Robert, what if it's daytime and I have no stars to go off of? What if it's daytime and I can't locate myself that way? I'd like to stop you there. There are stars in the day. There's one big star. His name is the sun. I'll give you a quick astronomical lesson. He rises in the east and he sets in the west. And that changes never. What if it's midday, Robert? What if it's midday? And the sun's in the center of the sky and I don't know what direction it's going. Okay? You know, we all have apps on our phones that tell us exactly where we need to go. Right? We all have the exact same apps on our phones. You know what app I'm referring to? Of course I'm referring to the Compass app. North, south, east, west, it's all on there. Yeah, it's, I know it's silly. I just like cooler street names than numbers is all. Like, people get easily lost, and I understand that, but like, there are so many ways to go about the world, especially in Salt Lake. Yo, the Spirit is my guide in Salt Lake. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That is all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much.